What a horrible, horrible. Hi everyone, welcome to another drugstore foundation review, testing, and video. I am going to wear, test, and review for you all day Revlon's newest ColorStay Light Cover Foundation. As of filming this video, it's not yet widely available. By the time this video goes up, I'm hoping that it will be available to purchase online through Walmart. I purchased mine through CVS, but it's going to be much more affordable through Walmart. If I can also find it on Amazon or wherever this can be purchased for you at the most affordable price right now, I will link in the description box below. You can subscribe to the channel and follow Allura Beauty on Instagram to be eligible for giveaways. If you haven't seen my latest video, I'll link that in the upper right hand corner. So on Walmart, this will retail for $10.98. The amount of product you get is 1 fluid ounce, so that's 30 milliliters. There are a total of 12 different shades, and it is supposed to be light to sheer coverage, so the shade range should be flexible in terms of matching your skin tone. They call this bottle as having a toddle tip. So I guess like for babies, I don't know, but it's a squeeze plastic bottle. They say that's for mess-free application. This does have an SPF of 35, and it looks like it's a combination of chemical and physical sunscreens, which I find very interesting because there's both titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. There's also homosalate, octisalate, and octocrylene. So very interesting. I love that it has sunscreen in it, but do not rely on this as your only source of sunscreen. You should always wear your sunscreen underneath. This just adds an extra boost of sun coverage for you as makeup. So I have the shade 150 Buff. Let's talk about the claims that this foundation makes so that we can really test those out and see if they hold up. Revlon says this is a no makeup foundation that truly lasts. It's supposed to wear up to 12 hours, give you brighter, smooth skin, provide you light to medium coverage with a natural finish. It's supposed to boost skin's hydration levels by 56%, and like I said, has an SPF of 34. So with those claims in mind, let's go ahead and start the application and test this out. Oh, before we do that, I will note that looking over the ingredients, there are some nice things that I see. One of the kind of earlier ingredients is glycerin to help as a humectant. They also have niacinamide in the formula. But then in the middle of the ingredients list, I see denatured alcohol, which can be quite drying for the skin, especially in more prevalent amounts. So I do not like that about this formula. Let's just keep those things in mind as we see how this wears. So I have just my skincare on and then my foundation. I don't have anything else on my face. I don't have any primer. I'm gonna apply this to half of my face so we can see the difference between bare face and application and see what the coverage is like. And the way I'm gonna apply it at first is with a flat top kabuki style brush, which is normally what I would use to apply liquid foundations. And then depending on the formulation, we'll see if we do a different method of application for the other side of the face. So you have a twist off cap and it comes in this squeeze bottle. Now, I injured my right hand, unfortunately my dominant hand, from a fall. So if it looks a little awkward the way that I'm applying this, it's because I have very little use of that right hand. So I'm applying that much amount of product. We're gonna apply this to my left side, your right side. Too pale, too pale. The shade was 150 Buff. Oh my gosh, way too pale. I really don't like how difficult it is. I feel like for drugstore products, for drugstore base color, foundation type of products, the images that they give you are especially inaccurate. I feel like for more expensive non-drugstore brands, they do a better job of more accurately conveying the shade ranges on those digital images. So even in winter, this would be way too pale for me. Disappointing. Okay. This is going on very, very streaky, splotchy. Oh my gosh. Can you see all of that weird splotchiness there? I can't tell if it's my skin. I can't tell if it's the sunscreen not agreeing with the foundation. That looks horrible. I mean, I don't even really know what to say. The coverage level actually is not, you know, I thought it would just be maybe sheer, but it's definitely light coverage. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it to the other side using my fingers. See if that improves. No, oh my gosh. This is the worst foundation application I've ever experienced in recent memory. Sorry for shaking you on the table. Look at all this horrible pilling. That just looks gross. I mean, it doesn't create as much texture as with the brush application, but it's definitely pilling everywhere. Okay, this is just a 100% fail at this point. I'm not gonna wear this throughout the day. I'm gonna wash it off. Let me try a different sunscreen to see if that's the reason, and I'll come back and we'll keep testing. Okay, here we are back again. I washed my face. I even used a manual exfoliating scrub to remove any sort of dry skin that I may have. I redid my skincare. I used a different sunscreen this time, and my skincare consisted only of toner, vitamin C, timeless vitamin C serum, which is watery, like a toner basically, and then my moisturizer and my sunscreen. So we're going to change a lot of different factors to see if it's the foundation or not. And I'm going to use a different brush. This is a Marc Jacobs brush. Again, synthetic bristled, kind of kabuki style. Putting that much on. Doing this on my left side. Okay. Better so far. Nope. Got a little bit of the same problem on the forehead. Gonna add a little more product. Yeah, I'm still getting those patchy flakes up at the top. I mean, could it just be my skin? I guess it could be, but the rest of the application is a lot better than last time. Okay, so obviously too pale, it's kind of hard to ignore, but try to ignore that. The finish is very nice. It's completely natural. It's pretty much consistent with my own natural skin finish, which has its own kind of, you know, natural shininess. And it is very smooth. Again, I would say light coverage, light to sheer coverage, but we still get this, I don't even know what to call this. It's definitely uneven and patchy and just, you know, when you normally look at my skin, you don't see this dryness or patchiness or scaliness, but then once you put the foundation, it brings that out. So, and even on the other parts of my skin, it is a little bit uneven. You can see a lot of different, I don't know if you call it dots or pore emphasis. I did my best to kind of pat it out and pat it in, but it's just not the most flattering finish up close. And this spot next to my nose, it's like I can't even get it to be even. Let's apply with the fingers, see if we can get a smoother finish, better application. It's definitely not the same level of pilling that we had before, which is good to say the least. But it is still pulling and peeling despite having put a different sunscreen, which is the layer directly underneath this foundation. But can you see this, like, it looks almost like it's sloughing off that layer. We've got pilling over here. It sits in the brows in a really unflattering manner. Again, just creating texture and ugh. And then you can see with this blemish here, the low level of coverage that it imparts. What a horrible, I don't think I've ever, the one foundation that I can think of that stands out to me as the worst foundation I've tried, and this is actually two, they're both from Pure, and it was their stick foundation, and then that concealer slash foundation thing that they have in a bottle where it twists up and you can use a doe foot for, I think, concealer, or you could pump it out as a foundation. Both of those look so horrible on the skin. This is what this reminds me of. Wow. I don't know what else to say other than it looks bad at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup. I'll check back with you when I'm done, and we'll see if this disaster is mitigated in any sort of way. I mean, just look at that. Just, hello? I mean, does it help that it's super pale and I look ghostly? No. But even if this were color matched, I don't want all this weird, scaly, shedding snake kind of texture created on my skin, and it's a bad sign. Maybe it is still the skincare that I have or the sunscreen that I'm using, but it's a really bad sign when a foundation does this, even when you switch up your face washing routine, your skincare routine, and use a different sunscreen. So anyway, I'll check back in. All right, so here is the finished makeup look. Definitely vastly improved once I buffed in a bunch of bronzer to try to make it look less sickly pale and powdered on top. It's definitely helped it smooth out, kind of get rid of that flakiness, but it still has its own issues with having that uneven texture. So you can see at the top of the forehead there, it's a, like, scaly kind of texture that it's created. It's improved in terms of the area around the nasal labial folds, but still has a little bit of splotchiness there in the folds right next to the nose and on the side of the jaw too. Now, luckily, these things are not really noticeable until you get up close. And nowadays, there are very few people who will be that close to you and inspecting the texture of your skin. But, you know, this state of events is not going to last for forever. So it's just not, you know, it's with the other options that you have out there on the market, I don't know. We'll see how it wears throughout the day, because I want to see how shiny I get. I want to see how it wears off, or how long wearing it is. I will be putting on and off a mask throughout the day. I'll check in with you, try to show you what it looks like in natural light, all those kinds of things. If you want to know what's on my lips, it's actually one of the new Revlon ColorStay satin inks, and I swatched all of the shades for you. I'll link that video in the upper right hand corner if you want to see them, because they have such a lovely texture and they are very transfer resistant. So great formula on this. The shade that I'm wearing is 7 Partner in Crime, and then this necklace is from Amazon. I'll link it below. If I ever don't tell you what I'm wearing or link it for you, like my rings or my earrings or whatever, it's because A, I don't remember where I got them, or B, they're no longer available. This kind of sweater I have in probably 4 or 5 different shades. I think they're Hanes, and they're super cheap. You can get them on Amazon. I'll try to remember to link them too. And I wanted to show you what it looks like in more diffused and natural lighting. So like I said, you can't immediately tell that there's necessarily any texture creation. My natural skin's oiliness and shininess is showing through, as it does with pretty much any foundation that I wear. So it actually doesn't look that bad. It looks fairly smooth on the skin, but of course if you get closer, you can tell that there's a bunch of unevenness. You can even tell where I tried to bronze on top to correct the color. It looks very splotchy, at least to my eye. Can you see how uneven that looks? On the nose there. All right, I'll check back in with you at the end of the day. I almost forgot to check in with you before I washed my face off. So it is the very end of the day. I've had this on for about 8.5 to 9 hours now. No touching up, no blotting or anything. Is my thought or reaction to the foundation as negative as it was when I first applied it? No, because at this point, once I've done the rest of the makeup and powder and done all that stuff, and as the day goes by and my natural oils kind of smooth things out, it does not look terrible. And you can only really notice the unevenness and splotchiness that's there once you get up closer and when you're looking at the foundation. In addition, I don't appreciate the inclusion of the denatured alcohol in the formulation. It states and claims that it's a hydrating foundation, but then you add drying denatured alcohol, and that seems to be contradictory to something being hydrating. And then of course the claim of it giving you smoother skin. Well, in my case, that definitely didn't happen. Let's zoom you in and I can show you up close what the finish looks like and what's happened to the patchy areas. So you can see there, that still is kind of patchy, but has sort of smoothed out with my natural skin. But you can also see kind of how splotchy and that texture. It just looks like there's a bunch of bumps on my skin that normally doesn't look like that. So for the positives, I do really like the finish of the foundation. I love how natural it looks. And it does seem to do a decent job of lowering the maximum level of greasiness that my skin can sometimes get to. If you watched my review of the L'Oreal Powder Foundation, I was much oilier at the end of the day after wearing that for 8+ hours than I am at the end of the day wearing this for 8+ hours. That might be in part due to the denatured alcohol, although my opinion is that it's not worth it to have reduced shine but then expose your skin to alcohol. You may as well just blot 1 or 2 times throughout the day. I disagree that this is light to medium coverage. Even with putting on multiple layers, I don't think you could get this to be medium coverage. I definitely think it's sheer to light coverage. So for me, at the end of the day, I can't really give this foundation a good review. I would have formulated it without the alcohol. And of course, I would want it to be a much more seamless application and look a lot more smooth on the skin when you look close up. I'm back. This is a different day. I've used different skincare, a different sunscreen, different moisturizer. I really want to know if it's my skin or if it's the formula of this foundation. So we're going to do a multi-day wear test, or I don't know. We'll see how it goes on. And yeah, I guess this won't be a full day wear test. It's going to be more like, let's really see if this has a finish that is as bad as it was the last time. Taking that Marc Jacobs brush. Oh boy. Yeah, it's not just my skin. It's not the skincare that I'm using or the sunscreen that I'm using. This is now the third. I've done 3 different combinations and sets of bases underneath this. And I'm not going to continue because I can already confirm that there is the same level of kind of like snake skin looking finish. Even more unevenness here or on my nose this time, and it just looks like it's drilling down into the pores and then sitting there. So that's like really highlighting the dots and pores around my nose. So there you can see the texture creation. And I'm sure the fact that it's too pale does not help, but It's there even, it's not unique to the shade that I chose. Can you see all the little dots? I mean, it's just super, super uneven looking. I'll jump back to my final thoughts because they're the same as they were when I filmed that portion. I was hoping this would kind of be a dupe for MAC's Face and Body Foundation, and really the only reason that I thought that was because of the bottle that it's in reminds me of the Face and Body Foundation from MAC, which is one of my favorite finishes in a foundation, but sadly, this is not going to be that at all. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, especially if you've tested this out and tried it. Did you have the same issues? Is it something maybe unique to me? Although using completely different brushes and sunscreens and all that kind of stuff makes me think that it can't just be unique to me. But let me know in the comments and let everyone else know. I hope that this was helpful to you. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next one.